So today I have with me Dusty Lapp, who is a private practitioner in Idaho, but Dusty Lapp is also NTP certified, and he's actually an instructor with NTP. Glad to have you with me, Dusty.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity. It's great to be here, John.
First thing, most people probably haven't heard of what the NTP is and the NTA. Why don't you go ahead and explain that? Because there's probably a lot of people that are interested in getting certified, and you being one of the instructors can explain it a lot better than I can.
Right. Nutritional therapy is relatively new. Within about the last 15 years or so, the Nutritional Therapy Association this year put out about, I think, 600 new students. So 600 graduates graduated to become nutritional therapy practitioners. And what that is we assess people for nutritional deficiencies based on different Riddler, Chapman, and Bennett reflex points. And then we find out how the body's functioning, where the dysfunction or imbalance is based on a nutritional foundation. We look at digestion, sugar handling, fatty acid balance, mineral balance, and hydration as the pillars of health, but those pillars are all supported with a properly prepared nutrient-dense whole food diet. So diet, for a nutritional therapist, diet is the foundation that we really want to support our clients with so that they can achieve optimal health.
That's great. Now, if I was interested in getting a certification, how would I go about that?
Contact the NTA, Nutritional Therapy Association, out of Olympia, Washington. In fact, they have registration opening up for fall venues. It just opened up, I think, last week. The venue that I will be teaching will be in Bend, Oregon, and that will start in 2016. So registration should probably open up for that mid-fall sometime. And yeah, I think there's 12 different locations this year. So.
Yeah, it's becoming very popular, and the people that come out of there with these degrees really have a good knowledge on what to do for a client. Specific stuff, you get good target points to go after. And I know we've done a lot of the same things with nutrition, and we've talked about that before. Things that I do with reading blood work and that you're very familiar with. So it's a good program. So here's what I want to ask you. Why do people come and see you?
Well, a lot of digestive dysfunction, hormone imbalance, sugar handling issues. People just feel like junk, and they've gone to all the doctors, and the doctors have loaded them up with prescriptions or just don't have any other answers for them. And generally, my experience has been most of the people that come see me, it's kind of a last resort. They're just tired of feeling bad. They're tired of having no energy, motivation. There's a whole myriad of reasons why people come, but when they realize that their food to a large degree is the culprit of why they feel how they feel, and when we can make the adjustments with food to get that nutrient-dense diet into their everyday life, their life begins to change, their health begins to improve, and they start to see life through different glasses.
Well, that's a big thing when you said nutrient-dense diet. I know me and you have talked about that a lot because we both are in the belief that you make more changes on somebody by putting high concentrations, very nutrient-dense diet in there than you do anything else on somebody's health. And I know we're in complete agreement on that. So say somebody comes to you and has 15 conditions that they have. They just have a bunch of complaints. And I know we talked about this too, but I want you to reiterate it because I think it's a good point. If you don't fix digestion, you'll never fix the client.
Right.
Tell me about that a little more, because that's something we completely agree on too. If that's not fixed, you're not going to get anywhere with that client.
Right. And most people, the pH is off in their stomach. They have what's called hypochlorhydria. They're not able to activate specific enzymes to digest protein, let's say. And when their protein isn't digesting, then it doesn't break down into the amino acids, which are the precursors to the neurotransmitters. So there can be a lot of cognitive, neurological things that take place. So that's a big deal.
Matt Dusty right there. I know we've talked about it, but I want you to say this specifically because I know people are going to be interested in this. A lot of times people do not, associate the health in their stomach and how their stomach's digesting food to their mentality, depression, and things like that. And you just said it with neurotransmitters, and I know that's something that you're good at. So elaborate on that a little bit for the people that are watching this.
Yeah, and also when that food is not digested properly, it lodges down in between the villi, microvilli, and the metabolic waste off gases. It eats tiny holes. Heard of leaky gut, intestinal permeability? It eats those tiny holes into the intestine. And then whenever they consume that food, the more of that specific food they consume, the more of an immune response the body presents against it. So they have this underlying cortisol response, this inflammatory response, and so their adrenals are taxed, which directly affects sugar handling. Then dysbiosis, the bad bacteria begins to proliferate because it has all of this undigested food that it's feeding on, and that the waste from that bacteria is leaking into the system, and it's very toxic. So it does cause a lot of issues with brain fog and lethargy. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Oh yeah, depression, things like that. The brain fog is such a large deal. I know we talked about that a little bit. When you see somebody and you fix their digestion, and all of a sudden their whole mental attitude changes. They feel better right away. Their hormones improve. You just touched on that because I know that's something you're good at too. And when you improve those things, then they don't realize, wow, my blood sugar just improved too. And you did this all starting with digestion.
Yeah.
It's a very powerful program. And I know you're good at it. That's why I wanted you to get the message across, because I know a lot of people listening to this would probably like to get one of these degrees.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great program to go through. And it's a certification that they would receive. But it is just a phenomenal program. The thing with digestion, if people are not digesting properly, they can eat the best food, take all the supplements, and they're not going to gain. So we want to get them digesting, but then we want to have the food that they're eating be nutrient dense. That's so important. The soil is depleted, so most, they've tested oranges that don't have any vitamin C in them because the soil is so depleted. So we just need to really load up, fix digestion, but then load up on nutrient-dense food. That's key.
That kind of brings my company in here, my nutrition advisor, because I know it's popular with the practitioners simply because of the superfoods that we use in the smoothies. And why don't you tell how you incorporate this nutrient-dense food into smoothies and stuff like that?
Well, the smoothies are something that a lot of people, more and more people are already drinking. And the question is the quality of food that they're putting in those smoothies. So they can be throwing bananas and avocados and spinach, kale, carrots, apples, whatever they put into it. But even at that, because our food quality has just been so poor and depleted, minerals and nutrients, it's kind of hard. You can eat 10 smoothies a day, but still can be lacking. And just for people watching, you're going to know that you're lacking nutrients when you have cravings for things. That's your body crying out for nutrition that it's not getting. And so we'll have a craving for chocolate, and the body's saying, what I really need is magnesium. And there's specific foods that you can get that in. So loading up, smoothies are a fantastic way to get a lot of nutrients in, specifically the superfood smoothies. That's been a game changer for my family personally. I
know when you contacted us, when we first met and everything, you were using our superfoods to put in the smoothies. And what you had told me was you noticed the big change right away with the clients when you up that nutrient level. And that's what I started doing many, many years ago, because exactly the same reason you touched on. If I would just go to the grocery store and buy some fruits and vegetables, I got good results. However, a lot of those fruits and vegetables are depleted in nutrients. And when you add superfoods in there, the superfood mixes, your results go up dramatically. And you know, that's something that you've taught on a lot and you've experienced. If you could just mention that, tell me your experiences with the differences.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, specifically just with my family, because we eat great. We bone broth, which is loaded with nutrition, great for the gut. We do bone broth. We do grass-fed beef and elk, if I'm lucky enough to get an elk during the season. We do a lot of eggs and uncured bacon. We eat really good. But when we added the superfood mix into the equation, energy improved, clarity improved. My wife specifically said, man, this is just really good. Digestion even improved. And we had kind of fine-tuned our digestion. We had supported it. We had eaten the right foods. But this just added so much nutrition. It was really astounding. And my wife said, you really need to get a hold of these people and offer this to your clients because of what it did in our life. So that's why I started offering it to my clients. It's because of what it did for me personally.
Yeah, and because of you now, a lot of other practitioners are also utilizing the superfoods with their clients. It just, as you said, it's easy to have the clients get really nutrient dense food when you use superfoods, and it does help the results. So I want to thank you for being on. I appreciate it. I'm sure we're going to do some more interviews. What I would like is you just to kind of give your information here. So you also do consultations over the phone. You have practice in Idaho. Just let everybody know how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, they can call me directly at 208-420-7462. They can email me at bestlifenutritionaltherapy@gmail.com or look me up on Facebook, Best Life Nutritional Therapy, friend me on there. And yeah, I do blood work, over the phone consultation in-house. I'm in Twin Falls, Idaho. So look me up. I'd love to help you however I can.
All right, Dusty, thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate your support.
Thanks, Dr. John.